Chapter 2.8, exercise 21 to 24, and this has to do with section 2.8 in the book that has to do with solving polynomial inequalities. And here we have exercise 21 to 24, solve the following inequalities for the given function f of x, and we have these different scenarios: a for f of x greater than 0, b f of x is greater than or equal to 0, c f of x is less than 0, d f of x is less than or equal to 0. And we have this function f of x equals quantity x squared plus 4 times quantity 2x squared plus 3. And what I did is I went and graphed this function. I press enter, I see nothing there. What we need to do is adjust the window to be able to see the graph. So just based visually, not in our viewing window, we cannot tell. Now, we can't tell if we cross the x-axis or not. So let's go ahead and go to menu, window zoom, window settings. We're going to leave the x values the same, x minimum, x maximum. The y values we're going to change here. We're going to change the y minimum to negative 10, just so we can see the x-axis, and the y maximum will change to 100. And so we press tab down, center, and we see this. We see a looks like about a 12. We have a minimum, but we're not even touching the x-axis. We're above the x-axis, it looks like, for the entirety of the domain. So that's going to make this pretty easy for us. For what interval? So for part A, for what interval is f of x greater than 0? Well, for all real numbers, the graph is always above the x-axis. B, where is f of x greater than or equal to 0? Well, that's still going to be all real numbers, greater than negative infinity, less than infinity. For C, where is f of x less than 0? Well, f of x is never less than 0. So we have there are no solutions. And finally, we have answer choice D. For f of x is less than or equal to 0, again, there are no solutions. And we can see how those conclusions are confirmed by our graph of our fourth degree or quartic function. Next, let's go on to the next ordinary problem, which is 23. We have the same four scenarios, but for the function f of x equals quantity 2x squared minus 2x plus 5 times quantity 3x minus 4 squared. So let's look at this. We have graph right here. I'm going to go to Control I and graph. We get our second function here, graph that, and that's what this thing looks like. Drag the function up there. There it is. That is indeed the function. We're going to take a more zoomed in look. Looks like the function might be just touching the x-axis just around x equals 1, a little greater than 1. Go to menu, window, settings, and we're going to go in this case from x equals 0 to x equals 3, tab down. Our y minimum is negative 1, and our y maximum is 2. And we go down and press enter, and we see the function looks like the function touches down right here between, looks like 0 and 3. And to see where this touches, if that's indeed what it is. Looks like it only maybe touches once. We go to Menu, Analyze Graph, and we're going to go for a 0. And we go to the left and to the right, and we get a 0 at 1.33. And it looks like that's just 1 0. So let's go back and analyze. What happens is, let's look at this second factor here. We have 3x minus 4 quantity squared. And this is going to be equal to 0 to find the 0 of the function, where 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Well, if we add 4 to both sides of this equation, we have 3x is equal to 4, and then divide by 3, we have x equals 4/3. That is our 0. And we have, since we have this squared up here, this is our 0 with a multiplicity of 2, meaning that the function is not going to cross the x-axis at that 0. So now to analyze, we say for A, we have 1 0, and our answer A is, we can write this thing as x is not equal to what it says for x is greater than 0. Well, x is greater than 0 everywhere except right here at x equals 4/3. So we can write this as x is not equal to 4/3, or I would prefer really to write it this way. I'll say or negative infinity, comma 4/3, union greater than 4/3, and comma infinity. So that would be our answer to, we'll just box in A. It's not so visible right here with all the writing I've done on the right here. Okay. Next, part B. I'll write part B in blue. B, where is f of x greater than or equal to 0? Well, actually, the function is greater than or equal to 0 over the entirety of the domain of the function, because this x equals 4/3 is not excluded. So for part B, we have negative infinity, greater than negative infinity, less than infinity. So that's part B. Part C, where's the function less than 0? Well, there are no, for less than 0, that only touches 4/3. For less than 0, there are no solutions. Okay, that's part C. All right, and part D, where is the function less than or equal to 0? Well, the function is going to be less than or equal to 0 at x equals 4/3. So we could write x equals 4/3, or if we want to, in interval notation, we can write this as 4/3, comma 4/3 in brackets. So that would be our answer to part D. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Short video lesson. Good luck on your even number problems 22 and 24. And I thank you for viewing.